Welcome back to the channel The Coin Empire. Today we are diving into one of the most shocking and fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting. A tiny piece of copper that could be hiding in plain sight yet is rumored to be worth an unbelievable $105 million. Yes, you heard that right. We are talking about the legendary 1969 1-cent coin. A coin that at first glance looks completely ordinary but carries with it a mystery filled with rare errors, minting mistakes, and incredible possibilities that could turn a simple penny into a life-changing treasure. Now imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a handful of change, and unknowingly holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever discussed in the numismatic world. That is the level of excitement and intrigue surrounding this coin. And in today's story we will uncover exactly what makes this 1969 penny so special, so valuable, and why collectors around the globe are constantly searching for it with hope and determination. The story begins at the Denver Mint in 1969, where millions of pennies were produced for everyday use. These coins were meant to circulate, to be spent, saved, and forgotten, but sometimes during the minting process, things do not go as planned, and when mistakes happen, they can create coins that are far more valuable than their intended purpose. The 1969 penny is believed to have several rare characteristics that set it apart, and these include possible double die errors, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, and even die cracks or planchet anomalies. Each of these errors on its own can increase a coin's value significantly, but when multiple errors appear together or in an extreme form, the value can skyrocket into unbelievable territory. And that is exactly where the legend of the 1969 1-cent coin begins to grow. One of the most talked about possibilities with this coin is the presence of a double die error. This occurs when the coin die used to strike the design onto the blank planchet receives multiple impressions that are slightly misaligned, resulting in visible doubling on letters, numbers, and design elements. Collectors often look for strong doubling in the date, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust," and if such doubling is found to be bold and clear, it can make the coin extraordinarily rare and valuable. Now imagine a 1969 penny with dramatic doubling that was never widely discovered or documented. Such a coin could become one of the rarest finds in history. Another factor that adds to the mystery is the mint mark itself. The small d indicating Denver can sometimes appear misplaced, tilted, or even doubled due to errors during production. These mint mark anomalies are highly sought after because they provide clear evidence that something unusual happened during the minting process. And collectors are always eager to own coins that tell a story of imperfection. Beyond doubling, there are also off-center strikes, where the coin design is not properly aligned with the planchet, resulting in part of the design being cut off while the rest remains blank. Depending on how off-center the strike is and whether the date is still visible, these coins can command very high prices, especially when the error is dramatic and visually striking. The 1969 penny with such an error would be considered a masterpiece of minting mishap, something truly one of a kind. Then there are die cracks and cuds, which occur when the die used to strike the coin becomes damaged, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin's surface. While minor die cracks are relatively common, large and unusual ones can make a coin stand out significantly, especially if they create unique patterns that collectors can easily recognize. In addition to these errors, there is also the possibility of planchet errors, which happen before the coin is even struck. These include issues like improper metal composition, clipped planchets, or even wrong planchet strikes where a penny design is struck onto a blank intended for another denomination. These kinds of mistakes are extremely rare and can push a coin's value into extraordinary ranges. Now combine all of these possibilities into one single coin, a 1969 penny with a strong doubled die, an off-center strike, a misaligned mint mark, and a rare planchet anomaly. Such a coin would not just be rare, it would be nearly mythical. And that is why stories of this coin reaching a value of $105 million continue to capture the imagination of collectors and enthusiasts worldwide. It is important to understand that in the world of coin collecting, value is driven not only by rarity but also by demand, condition, and the story behind the coin. A coin that is unique, or nearly unique, especially one with dramatic and visible errors, can attract intense interest from collectors, investors, and museums, And when multiple wealthy buyers compete for ownership, the price can climb to astonishing levels. The 1969 D penny represents the perfect storm of these factors: rarity, mystery, error, and the possibility of undiscovered examples still hiding in circulation or old collections. Another reason this coin has gained such legendary status is the era in which it was produced. The late 1960s were a time of transition in coin production. With changes in materials, increased demand for coinage, and occasional lapses in quality control, this environment created opportunities for unusual errors to slip through unnoticed, and some of these errors were not recognized until years later, adding to their rarity and value. Collectors today often search through rolls of pennies, estate collections, and even pocket change hoping to find one of these hidden treasures, and the idea that a coin as common as a penny could be worth millions keeps that excitement alive. So how can you identify if you might have a valuable 1969 D penny? First, you need to carefully examine the coin under good lighting and possibly with magnification. Look closely at the date and lettering for signs of doubling. Check the mint mark for any unusual placement or shape. Observe the overall alignment of the design to see if it is off-center, and inspect the surface for cracks, raised lines, or other irregularities, if you notice anything unusual. It is important to have the coin evaluated by a professional grading service, as they can confirm whether the coin is authentic and determine the extent of its errors. Authentication is crucial because there are many counterfeit or altered coins in the market, and only a certified coin can truly achieve its maximum value. The story of the 1969 D 1-cent coin is not just about money, it is about the thrill of discovery, the beauty of imperfection, and the idea that something extraordinary can come from something ordinary. It reminds us that treasures are not always obvious, and that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones we overlook. So next time you come across a penny, take a closer look, because you never know, you might be holding a piece of history worth far more than you ever imagined. And that is what makes coin collecting such an exciting and rewarding journey. A journey where every coin has a story and every story has the potential to change your life forever. Next, 2003 D 1-cent coin. Today we are diving into an absolutely mind-blowing story that sounds almost unbelievable yet continues to capture the imagination of collectors all around the world. A simple everyday coin that most people would ignore without a second thought. The 2003 D 1-cent coin. A penny that in rare and extraordinary circumstances is believed to be worth an astonishing $99 million because of its errors, mistakes, and the incredible possibilities hidden within its creation. Now think about that. For a moment, a coin that was made to be worth just 1 cent suddenly becoming one of the most valuable pieces of currency ever discussed, and the reason behind this transformation lies in the fascinating world of minting errors, production anomalies, and the rare combinations of imperfections that collectors dream of discovering. The 2003 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint as part of the regular production of Lincoln cents, and millions upon millions of these coins were released into circulation, designed to be used in everyday transactions and eventually forgotten. But as with any large-scale minting operation, there are moments when things do not go perfectly, and when mistakes occur, they can sometimes create coins that are unlike any others. Coins that stand out not because they are perfect but because they are flawed in unique and rare ways. And it is these flaws that can turn an ordinary penny into something extraordinary. One of the most important factors that could contribute to the immense value of a 2003 D penny is the presence of a double die error, a phenomenon that occurs during the creation of the coin die when the design is impressed more than once at slightly different angles, resulting in a visible doubling of the design elements. This doubling can often be seen in the inscriptions such as the date 2003, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust." And when the doubling is strong and clearly visible without magnification, it becomes highly desirable among collectors. Now imagine a 2003 D penny with an extreme doubled die, where the letters appear almost shadowed or duplicated in a dramatic way. Such a coin would immediately stand out and could be considered one of the finest examples of a minting error. But doubling alone may not be enough to push a coin's value into the millions. What truly elevates a coin to legendary status is the combination of multiple rare errors occurring together, and this is where the story becomes even more fascinating. Consider the possibility of a 2003 penny that not only has a strong doubled die but also features an off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the dies during the striking process, causing the design to be partially missing and leaving a blank crescent-shaped area on the coin. The more off-center the strike, while still showing the full date, the more valuable the coin becomes, because it represents a clear and dramatic error that is easy to see and highly collectible. Now add to this a misaligned or repunched mint mark, where the small d on the coin appears doubled, shifted, or incorrectly placed. These kinds of mint mark errors are especially appealing because they are directly tied to the identity of the mint and can help tell the story of how the error occurred. When collectors see a coin with multiple distinct errors like doubling, off-center striking, and mint mark anomalies, they begin to realize that they are looking at something truly special, something that may exist in extremely limited quantities or even as a one-of-a-kind piece. Another layer of rarity comes from die cracks and die breaks. These occur when the die used to strike the coin begins to wear out or crack due to the immense pressure of repeated use. These cracks can leave raised lines or unusual shapes on the surface of the coin, and in some cases, large pieces of the die can break off, creating what is known as a cud, a raised blob of metal that appears on the coin where the die was damaged. While small die cracks are relatively common, large and dramatic ones are much rarer and can significantly increase a coin's value, especially when they are combined with other errors. And then there are planchet errors, which occur before the coin is even struck. These include issues such as clipped planchets where a portion of the metal blank is missing, wrong planchet errors where the coin is struck on a blank intended for another denomination, and even improper alloy mixtures that can change the color, weight, or texture of the coin. Imagine a 2003 penny struck on a planchet meant for a different coin, perhaps slightly smaller or made of a different metal, combined with a double die and an off-center strike. Such a coin would not only be rare but completely unique. And uniqueness is one of the most powerful drivers of value in the numismatic world. Collectors are always searching for coins that are unlike any others, coins that tell a story that cannot be replicated, and when such a coin appears, it can attract intense interest and competition among buyers, driving the price higher and higher, sometimes reaching levels that seem almost impossible. The idea of a 2003 penny being worth $99 million may sound extreme, but in the world of rare collectibles, value is not determined solely by the face value or even the metal content of an item. It is determined by rarity, demand, condition, and the story behind the piece. A coin that combines multiple rare errors in a dramatic and visually striking way, preserved in near-perfect condition, and verified by experts, could easily become one of the most sought-after items in existence, especially if it is believed to be unique, or one of only a few known examples. Another factor that adds to the allure of the 2003 penny is the modern era in which it was produced. Unlike older coins that have been studied for decades, modern coins are still being examined and discovered, and new errors are still being found. This creates a sense of possibility and excitement, because it means that valuable coins could still be out there, hidden in circulation, sitting in jars, or tucked away in collections waiting to be discovered. The idea that a coin from as recent as 2003 could be worth millions makes the search feel more accessible and real. It encourages people to look more closely at their change and to pay attention to the details that they might otherwise overlook. So what should you look for if you want to find a valuable 2003 penny? Start by examining the coin under good lighting and with magnification if possible. Look for any signs of doubling in the date and lettering. Check the alignment of the design to see if it is off-center. Inspect the mint mark for any irregularities, and carefully observe the surface for cracks, unusual shapes, or differences in texture or color. If you find anything that seems unusual or out of place, it is important to have the coin evaluated by a professional grading service, as they can confirm whether the coin is authentic and determine the extent of its errors. Authentication is crucial because the market for rare coins includes many altered or counterfeit pieces, and only a certified coin can achieve its true value. The story of the 2003 1-cent coin is a powerful reminder that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value. It shows us that mistakes are not always flaws, sometimes they are the very things that make something unique and valuable, and it invites us to look more closely at the world around us, to appreciate the details, and to recognize the hidden potential in the things we often take for granted. So the next time you come across a penny, do not dismiss it as just spare change. Take a moment to examine it, to look for the signs of something unusual, because you never know. You might be holding a coin that is worth far more than its face value, a coin that could change your life. And that is the magic of coin collecting, the thrill of discovery, the excitement of the unknown, and the possibility that treasure could be hiding in the palm of your hand waiting to be found. And as long as coins continue to be minted and collected, stories like this will continue to inspire and captivate, reminding us that even the smallest things can have the greatest impact if we are willing to look closely enough and believe in the possibilities hidden within them. Next, 2017 P1 coin. Today we are uncovering another unbelievable story from the world of rare coins, a story that proves even the newest coins in your pocket could hold unimaginable value. And today's spotlight is on the mysterious and highly talked about 2017 P1 coin, a coin that shocked collectors when whispers began circulating that a rare version of it, filled with extraordinary minting errors and unique production mistakes, could be worth as much as $95 million. And while that number may sound impossible at first, once you begin to understand the rare combinations of factors that can turn an ordinary penny into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, you will see why collectors and treasure hunters alike are constantly searching for this coin with excitement and hope. Now the 2017 P penny is already special in one very important way, because it was the first time in history that the Philadelphia Mint added a P mint mark to the Lincoln cent. This change was made to celebrate the 225th anniversary of the United States Mint, and it instantly made the 2017 P penny stand out from all previous Philadelphia minted pennies that traditionally had no mint mark at all. This single detail alone already gives the coin a unique place in modern numismatics. But what truly transforms it into something potentially worth millions are the rare and unusual errors that may have occurred during its production. And when we talk about errors, we are talking about the kinds of mistakes that are not supposed to happen, the kinds of flaws that slip through quality control and end up in circulation, creating coins that are incredibly rare and highly sought after. One of the most important possibilities for the 2017 P penny is the presence of a double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin receives multiple impressions that are slightly misaligned, causing a doubling effect on the coin's design. Collectors often look for doubling in the inscriptions such as the date 2017, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust," and when this doubling is strong and clearly visible, it can significantly increase the value of the coin. Now imagine a 2017 P penny with a dramatic doubled die where the letters and numbers appear almost duplicated with sharp separation. Such a coin would immediately stand out as an extraordinary error and could be considered one of the rarest examples of its kind. But the story does not stop there, because the real excitement begins when multiple errors appear together on a single coin, creating a combination that is almost impossible to replicate. For example, consider the possibility of an off-center strike, where the coin was not properly aligned during the minting process, resulting in a design that is shifted to one side and partially missing, leaving a blank area on the coin. The more off-center the strike while still showing the full date and mint mark, the more valuable the coin becomes. And when you combine an off-center strike with a doubled die, you are already looking at a coin that could be worth a significant amount. Now add to that a mint mark error. Since the 2017 P penny was the first of its kind to feature the P mint mark, any mistake involving this mark becomes even more important. Collectors have speculated about possibilities such as a doubled P mint mark, a misplaced mint mark, or even a mint mark that appears distorted or incorrectly formed. These kinds of errors would be extremely rare because of the careful attention given to the introduction of the P mint mark, and if such an error were discovered, it would instantly become one of the most talked about coins in the modern era. Another layer of rarity comes from die cracks and die breaks, which occur when the die used to strike the coin begins to wear out or fracture under pressure. These cracks can leave raised lines or unusual shapes on the surface of the coin, and in some cases large pieces of the die can break off, creating what is known as a cud, a raised blob of metal that appears on the coin where the die was damaged. While small die cracks are fairly common, large and dramatic ones are much rarer and can add significant value, especially when combined with other errors. And then there are planchet errors, which occur before the coin is even struck. These include clipped planchets where part of the metal blank is missing, wrong planchet errors where the coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination, and even issues with the metal composition that can change the appearance or weight of the coin. Imagine a 2017 penny struck on a planchet meant for another coin, combined with a strong double die and an off-center strike. Such a coin would be incredibly rare and could easily be considered a one-of-a-kind piece. And in the world of coin collecting, uniqueness is one of the most powerful drivers of value. Collectors are always searching for coins that are unlike any others, coins that tell a story that cannot be duplicated. And when such a coin appears, it can attract intense interest from collectors, investors, and even museums, driving the price to extraordinary levels. The idea of a 2017 penny being worth $95 million may seem extreme, but in the world of rare collectibles, value is not just about the material or the face value of the coin. It is about rarity, demand, condition, and the story behind the coin, a coin that combines multiple rare errors in a dramatic and visually striking way, preserved in near-perfect condition and verified by experts, could easily become one of the most valuable coins ever discovered, especially if it is believed to be unique, or nearly unique. Another factor that adds to the excitement is the modern nature of the coin. Unlike older coins that have been studied for decades, modern coins like the 2017 penny are still being examined and new discoveries are still being made. This means that valuable coins could still be out there waiting to be found, hidden in everyday circulation, sitting in coin jars or tucked away in collections. This possibility keeps collectors constantly searching and fuels the excitement of the hobby. Because anyone could potentially find one of these rare coins, you do not need to be a professional collector to make a discovery. All you need is attention to detail and a bit of curiosity. So what should you look for if you want to find a valuable 2017 penny? Start by examining the coin carefully under good lighting and with magnification if possible. Look for any signs of doubling in the date and lettering. Check the mint mark for any irregularities. Observe the alignment of the design to see if it is off-center, and inspect the surface for cracks, unusual shapes, or differences in texture or color. If you notice anything unusual, it is important to have the coin evaluated by a professional grading service, as they can confirm whether the coin is authentic and determine the extent of its errors. Authentication is essential because the market for rare coins includes many altered or counterfeit pieces, and only a certified coin can achieve its true value. The story of the 2017 1-cent coin is not just about money, it is about the thrill of discovery, and the idea that something extraordinary can come from something ordinary. It reminds us that even the smallest details can make a huge difference, and that sometimes the things we overlook hold the greatest potential. So the next time you come across a penny, do not ignore it. Take a closer look, because you never know, you might be holding a coin that could change your life, a coin that represents a rare moment in history, a coin that combines rarity and mystery into something truly priceless. And that is what makes coin collecting so exciting: the endless possibilities, the hidden treasures, and the stories waiting to be discovered in the smallest pieces of metal that pass through our hands every single day. And as long as coins continue to be minted and circulated, the dream of finding that one extraordinary piece will always remain alive, inspiring collectors around the world to keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing that the next great discovery could be just one coin away. Next, 2021 1-cent coin. Today we are stepping into another incredible story that proves once again that even the newest coins in your pocket could hold unbelievable value. And today's focus is on the mysterious 2021 1-cent coin from the United States, a coin so modern and so common at first glance that most people would never think twice about it. Yet under the right circumstances and with the presence of rare minting errors and unique production mistakes, this ordinary penny is believed by some collectors and enthusiasts to reach a staggering value of $90 million, a number that sounds almost unreal but becomes more understandable once you dive deep into the fascinating world of coin errors, rarity, and the powerful forces of collector demand. Now imagine holding a coin that was minted just a few years ago, a coin that you might receive as change from a simple purchase. And realizing that due to a series of extraordinary mistakes it could be worth more than luxury mansions, more than rare works of art, and more than entire collections of traditional coins combined, that is the level of excitement and mystery surrounding the 2021 1-cent coin when it comes to extreme error possibilities. The story begins with the basic production of Lincoln cents, which are struck in massive quantities every year at different mints including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco for special issues. These coins are designed to be identical, precise, and consistent, but when you produce billions of coins, even the smallest chance of error can lead to rare and unusual pieces slipping through the system, and it is exactly these rare mistakes that collectors spend years searching for, because when something goes wrong in a very specific and uncommon way, it creates a coin that stands apart from all the rest. One of the most important and valuable types of errors that could appear on a 2021 penny is the double die error. This occurs during the creation of the die itself when the design is impressed more than once at slightly different angles, causing a doubling effect on the coin's design elements. Collectors carefully examine areas such as the date 2021, the word liberty, and the phrase "in God we trust" for signs of clear and strong doubling. And when this doubling is bold enough to be seen without magnification, it becomes highly desirable and can dramatically increase the coin's value. Now imagine a 2021 penny with an extreme doubled die where the letters appear almost duplicated with sharp separation. Such a coin would instantly attract attention and could be considered one of the most important modern era coins ever discovered. But the real magic happens when multiple errors come together on a single coin, creating a combination that is so rare it may only exist once. For example, an off-center strike is another powerful error. This happens when the coin blank is not properly aligned with the dies during the striking process, resulting in a design that is shifted to one side and partially missing, leaving a blank area on the coin. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still showing the full date, the more valuable the coin becomes, because it clearly demonstrates a significant mistake during production. Now combine that with a double die and the coin becomes even more extraordinary. But we can go further. Consider the possibility of a misaligned or unusual mint mark. Even though modern pennies may have different mint marks such as P or D depending on where they are produced, errors involving these marks such as doubling, shifting, or distortion can add another layer of rarity, especially if the mint mark appears in an unexpected position or shows clear signs of being struck incorrectly. These mint mark anomalies are highly sought after because they provide direct evidence of something going wrong during the minting process. And collectors love coins that tell a unique story. Another fascinating aspect of error coins is the presence of die cracks and die breaks. These occur when the die used to strike the coin begins to wear out or fracture due to repeated use under immense pressure. These cracks can leave raised lines or unusual shapes on the coin's surface, and in some cases large pieces of the die can break off completely, creating what is known as a cud, which appears as a raised blob of metal on the coin. While minor die cracks are relatively common, large and dramatic ones are much rarer and can significantly increase a coin's value, especially when combined with other errors. And then there are planchet errors, which occur before the coin is even struck. These include clipped planchets where a portion of the metal blank is missing, wrong planchet errors where the coin is struck on a blank intended for another denomination, and issues with the metal composition that can change the color, weight, or texture of the coin. Imagine a 2021 penny struck on a planchet meant for a different coin, perhaps thinner or made of a different alloy, combined with a strong double die and an off-center strike. Such a coin would not just be rare, it would be extraordinary, potentially one of a kind. And in the world of coin collecting, uniqueness is one of the most powerful factors driving value. Collectors are constantly searching for coins that stand apart, coins that cannot be easily found or replicated. And when such a coin appears, it can attract intense competition among collectors, investors, and even institutions, driving the price to astonishing levels. The idea of a 2021 1-cent coin being worth $90 million may seem extreme, but in the world of rare collectibles, value is not determined by face value or metal content. It is determined by rarity, condition, demand, and the story behind the coin. A coin that combines multiple rare errors in a dramatic and visually striking way, preserved in near perfect condition and authenticated by experts. could easily become one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered, especially if it is believed to be unique, or nearly unique. Another factor that adds to the excitement is the fact that the coin is so recent. Unlike older coins that have been studied and documented for decades, modern coins like the 2021 penny are still being explored, and new discoveries are still being made. This creates a sense of possibility and excitement because it means that valuable coins could still be out there waiting to be found, hidden in everyday circulation, sitting in jars, or stored away in collections. This possibility fuels the passion of collectors and encourages people to take a closer look at their coins. Because anyone could potentially make a discovery, you do not need to be an expert to find something valuable. All you need is curiosity, patience, and attention to detail. So what should you look for if you want to find a valuable 2021 penny? Start by examining the coin carefully under good lighting. And with magnification if possible, look for any signs of doubling in the date and lettering. Check the alignment of the design to see if it is off-center, inspect the mint mark for any irregularities, and observe the surface for cracks, unusual shapes, or differences in color and texture. If you notice anything unusual, it is important to have the coin evaluated by a professional grading service, as they can confirm whether the coin is authentic and determine the extent of its errors. Authentication is essential because the market for rare coins includes many altered or counterfeit pieces, and only a certified coin can achieve its true value. The story of the 2021 1-cent coin is not just about money, it is about the thrill of discovery, the beauty of imperfection, and the idea that something extraordinary can come from something ordinary. It reminds us that even the smallest details can make a huge difference, and that sometimes the things we overlook hold the greatest potential. So the next time you come across a penny, do not ignore it. Take a closer look because you never know, you might be holding a coin that could change your life, a coin that represents a rare moment in history, a coin that combines rarity and mystery into something truly priceless. And that is what makes coin collecting so exciting: the endless possibilities, the hidden treasures, and the stories waiting to be discovered in the smallest pieces of metal that pass through our hands every single day. And as long as coins continue to be minted and circulated, the dream of finding that one extraordinary piece will always remain alive, inspiring collectors around the world to keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing that the next great discovery could be just one coin away. Last 1981 cent coin. Today we are diving into one of the most unbelievable and fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting, a story that sounds almost impossible yet continues to spark curiosity and excitement among collectors and treasure hunters around the globe. Imagine holding a simple 1981 cent coin in your hand, a coin that most people would overlook, toss into a jar, or spend without a second thought. But what if that same coin could secretly be worth an astonishing $86 million? Yes, you heard that right, $86 million, and in this video we are going to explore exactly how such a seemingly ordinary coin could reach such an extraordinary value by uncovering the rare errors, hidden mistakes, and unique possibilities that can transform a common penny into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Now, before you dismiss this as just another exaggerated story, it is important to understand that the world of numismatics is filled with surprising examples where tiny variations and minting flaws have created coins of immense worth. And the 1981 cent coin is no exception. When we talk about the 1980 penny, we are referring to the Lincoln cent, a coin that features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, minted during a time when billions of pennies were produced, making it one of the most common coins in circulation. But within that massive production lies the possibility of rare and valuable errors that only a few lucky individuals may ever encounter. One of the most significant factors that can elevate the value of a 1980 penny is the presence of minting errors. These errors occur during the production process at the mint, and can take many different forms. Some of the most valuable types include double die errors, off-center strikes, planchet errors, and die cracks, among others. A double die error happens when the coin is struck more than once by the die but slightly misaligned, resulting in a noticeable doubling of the design elements such as the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile. And while many doubled coins exist, only the most dramatic and clearly visible examples are considered highly valuable. Imagine a 1980 penny where the date appears doubled so distinctly that it almost looks like two separate dates overlapping. This kind of error would immediately capture the attention of collectors and could potentially command an incredible price, especially if it is in near perfect condition. Another major factor that could contribute to the staggering value of an $86 million 1980 penny is the possibility of a wrong planchet error. This occurs when a coin is struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, or even a different metal composition. For instance, if a 1980 penny were mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for a dime, or a foreign coin, it would create a highly unusual and rare piece that stands out dramatically from standard coins. These types of errors are extremely scarce because the minting process is carefully controlled, making any deviation from the norm a rare occurrence. Collectors are particularly drawn to such anomalies because they represent a breakdown in the system, a moment where something went wrong in a way that produced a unique and irreplaceable artifact, and when rarity meets demand, the value can skyrocket to unimaginable levels. In addition to wrong planchet errors, off-center strikes are another fascinating category of mistakes that can significantly increase a coin's worth. An off-center strike happens when the planchet is not properly aligned within the press, resulting in a design that is partially missing or shifted to one side. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more visually striking the coin becomes. However, there is a delicate balance, because if too much of the design is missing, the coin may lose some of its appeal, but if the date and key design elements are still visible, while the rest is off center, the coin can become highly desirable. Now imagine a 1980 penny that is struck 50% off-center with a perfectly visible date. This would be a remarkable piece that could attract serious attention from collectors, especially if it is in mint state condition. Speaking of condition, the grade of a coin plays a crucial role in determining its value. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from poor to perfect, uncirculated, with higher grades indicating better preservation and fewer imperfections. A 1980 penny that has never been circulated and retains its original luster, sharp details, and flawless surfaces would be considered extremely valuable even without errors. But when you combine a high grade with a rare error, the result can be explosive in terms of value. For example, a pristine 1980 penny with a dramatic double die error could potentially become a centerpiece in a high-end collection, attracting bids from wealthy collectors who are willing to pay extraordinary amounts to own such a rare item. Another intriguing possibility that could contribute to the mythical $86 million value is the existence of a unique experimental or transitional error during certain periods. The mint experiments with different metal compositions or production techniques, and sometimes coins are accidentally released into circulation during these transitions. If a 1980 penny were discovered to have been struck using an unusual or unintended metal composition, it could represent a transitional error that is both historically significant and incredibly rare. These types of coins often tell a story about changes in the minting process and provide insight into the evolution of coin production, making them highly sought after by collectors and historians alike. Moreover, die cracks and die breaks can also add to a coin's uniqueness. A die crack occurs when the die used to strike the coin develops a small fracture, resulting in raised lines on the coin's surface, while minor die cracks are relatively common. Larger and more dramatic breaks, known as cud errors, can create bold and distinctive features that make a coin stand out. Imagine a 1980 penny with a massive die break that forms a raised blob covering part of the design. This kind of dramatic error could be both visually striking and extremely rare, making it a prized addition to any collection. Beyond the physical errors, there is also the element of story and provenance that can dramatically influence a coin's value. If a particular 1980 penny were to gain fame due to its discovery circumstances or previous ownership, it could become a legendary piece within the numismatic community. For instance, if a coin were found in an unexpected location or associated with a notable collector, its history could add an intangible value that goes beyond its physical characteristics. Collectors often place a premium on coins with unique stories because they add a layer of intrigue and connection to the past. As we continue exploring the possibilities, it is important to consider the role of demand in determining value. Even the rarest coin will not reach extraordinary prices unless there is strong interest from collectors and investors. The world of coin collecting has seen a surge in popularity in recent years, with more people recognizing the potential for significant returns on rare coins. Auctions have become highly competitive events where bidders from around the world compete for the chance to own a piece of history, and when a truly unique 1980 penny with extraordinary errors appears on the market, it could spark a bidding war that drives the price to astonishing heights, potentially reaching the legendary figure of $86 million. While such a price may seem unbelievable, it is not entirely impossible when we consider the combined effects of rarity, condition, historical significance, and intense demand. Another factor to consider is the role of grading and authentication services. Reputable organizations evaluate coins to verify their authenticity and assign a grade, which provides confidence to buyers. A 1980 penny that has been certified as a one-of-a-kind error in perfect condition would carry a level of credibility that could justify an exceptionally high valuation. Without proper authentication, even the most unusual coin would struggle to achieve such a price because buyers need assurance that they are investing in a genuine and accurately described piece. In addition to these technical aspects, there is also a psychological element at play. The idea that a simple penny could be worth millions captures the imagination of people everywhere. It fuels the excitement of searching through pocket change and coin jars in hopes of discovering a hidden treasure. This sense of possibility is a powerful driver of interest in coin collecting and contributes to the allure of stories like the 1980 penny worth $86 million. It reminds us that extraordinary value can sometimes be found in the most ordinary places, encouraging us to look closer and pay attention to the details. As we wrap up this deep dive into the incredible potential of the 1981 cent coin, it is clear that a combination of rare errors, exceptional condition, unique history, and strong demand could theoretically create a coin of immense value. While the idea of an $86 million penny may sound like a dream, it is rooted in the real principles of numismatics, where rarity and desirability can transform even the smallest object into a priceless treasure. So the next time you come across a 1980 penny, take a moment to examine it closely. Look for signs of doubling, unusual metal composition, off-center strikes, or any other irregularities, because you never know, you might just be holding a hidden gem that could change your life forever. And that is the magic of coin collecting, a world where history, mystery, and value come together in the palm of your hand. Keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, maybe your next discovery will be the one that makes headlines around the world.